All right, let's dive right into this explainer. The indifference of the void, unpacking cosmic horror. Today, we're exploring a feeling you've almost certainly experienced, even if you couldn't quite put a name to it at the time. It's this profound, creeping dread. And the crazy thing, it isn't rooted in fiction or, silly ghost stories. It's grounded in the actual, measurable reality of the world around us. So, welcome to our deep dive into cosmic horror. The universe did not make room for you. Just picture it. Imagine standing on the very edge of a pitch black, infinitely deep ocean at night. The horizon is just completely gone. You literally cannot tell where the sea ends and the sky begins. And underneath you, the water goes down for miles, just cold, lightless, unmeasured depth. Down there, things are shaped purely by pressure and silence into forms that just wouldn't make any sense to us, simply because they aren't built with us in mind. That overwhelming feeling of scale, that is exactly the sensation we're unpacking today. Section 1. The oldest fear. It has no face. So what are we actually talking about here? Cosmic horror is, at its core, the terrifying knowledge that the universe is so insanely vast, indifferent, and ancient that human beings aren't even a footnote in it. Over a century ago, a writer named H.P. Lovecraft kind of stumbled upon this exact core feeling. He realized that, in the grand scheme of the cosmos, we aren't the heroes of some epic story. Actually, scratch that. We aren't even the villains. We're essentially closer to bacteria clinging to a massive cliff face, just briefly alive on a structure that doesn't even register we exist. Section 2. Defining cosmic horror. Rules versus the void. Let's compare how this works. Think about traditional horror, like a killer in the woods or a ghost haunting a house. Honestly, it's secretly comforting. Why? Because it has rules. The threat is boxed into a shape we can understand. It has a face, it has a motive, and if the hero is just smart enough, they can survive. But cosmic horror, it gives you absolutely none of that. There are no rules. The threat is ancient beyond calculation, totally incomprehensible to human thought, and it literally shatters the mind simply by revealing the true, massive scale of reality. A perfect example of this is Lovecraft's most famous creation, Cthulhu, this ancient being sleeping beneath the Pacific Ocean. Now, the true horror of Cthulhu isn't physical violence. When people encounter it in the stories, they don't just scream and run away. They go quietly and completely mad. Not because the creature physically attacks them, but because for a split second, their human brain comprehends what the creature actually is. Our minds simply cannot hold that much impossible information and remain intact. So it makes you wonder, right? Why does this specific dread linger in our minds so stubbornly? Why does it dominate so many of our best stories, video games, and movies today? Well, here's where it gets really fascinating. This feeling isn't just confined to fiction anymore. This profound dread actually transitions perfectly from art straight into established, observable science. Which brings us to Section 3, the Overview Effect. Science of Dread. The overview effect is this highly documented phenomenon reported by astronauts, people who have literally left our planet. When they look out the window of a spacecraft, they see our atmosphere as just an incredibly thin, barely visible blue line that separates everything alive from the dead void of space. Some of them have described it as a sudden, terrifying shattering of their entire worldview. It's the stark awareness of how fragile, small, and balanced on the edge of nothing the Earth truly is. And that nothingness? It isn't hostile. It's just enormous, silent, and completely indifferent. Section 4. The Neurology of Dread. Brain versus infinity. Let's break down the mechanics of standard fear first. Say you spot a dangerous figure in a dark alley. Instantly, your brain's threat detection system fires fast and specific. It locates the danger, and your body immediately sharpens up for fight or flight. In this kind of scenario, fear is actually incredibly useful, right? Because your neurology gives your body something highly specific to lock onto and react against. But contrast that specific, localized threat with an unresolved, infinite threat, with cosmic dread. The source of your fear is the vast scale of reality itself. There's no single point of origin, no guy in an alley. So your threat system absolutely can't lock on. I mean, you can't exactly outsmart the void, and there's no way you can fight the age of the universe. And because you can't resolve it, the fear just sits heavily in your chest. It lingers there, with literally nowhere to go. Section 5. Power of the Unknown. Weaponized Glitch.
As H.P. Lovecraft famously wrote, "The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown." Think about how profound that is. He fundamentally understood the deeply rooted neuroscience of fear long before the actual medical science existed to prove it. He hit the nail on the head. The most terrifying thing isn't what you can see, but what you can't see yet.
In this neurological glitch, it leads to the ultimate trick handed down to modern creators. You don't show the monster fully, you just imply the threat. Even better, you provide explanations that are somehow way worse than having no explanation at all. By leaving these gaps, you force the viewer's own mind to finish the picture. A horror that respects your imagination is always going to tailor itself precisely to your own deepest, most personal unease. It's so much more devastating than anything a writer could ever just put on a screen.
Section 6. The shape of reality, hard to unknow.
Okay, let's just let the staggering weight of these numbers truly sink in for a second. The universe is approximately 14 billion years old. 14 billion. The Earth has been here for about 4.5 billion of those years. And Homo sapiens, our species, you and me, we've only been kicking around for roughly 300,000 years. To put that into perspective, on the cosmic scale, human existence doesn't even register as a blink. It is in intervals so incredibly microscopic that it doesn't even move the needle. Yet, in that microscopic blink of time, humans built vast cities. We composed beautiful music. We named the stars above us. We loved and we feared the dark. And the dark? It hasn't noticed any of it. Remember, this isn't some fictional story I'm telling you today. This is the literal, undeniable shape of the reality that you are sitting in right now, in whatever room you're currently in, with whatever light you've chosen to keep that dark away. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. The unknown doesn't need to be supernatural to be utterly terrifying. It simply needs to be infinitely larger than you are. Once you grasp the sheer scale of the void's indifference, I promise you, your perspective on everything changes. So I have to ask, are you ready to look up at the stars tonight? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning what you see.